These developers are great. After the update yesterday, some of you guys were a bit unhappy with the salvage repair costs. I went through all the changes yesterday where they basically made it that you have to now use more resources to repair. That made sense to me. Instead of just using cheap wood, it makes more sense that you've got to use them. But some of you guys were a bit unhappy about how many different types of items you needed. And super pleased to say the devs have responded. They've actually changed it. So after my update, they did a hotfix yesterday, and then they did announce earlier on this morning that they would be reverting things a little bit. So you still need to use certain items to repair, but it's no longer going to be multiple items. So each weapon or tool will just require one resource to go ahead and repair it from now on. And that to me shows the devs are really responding to what players want. Whether or not they've got feedback through Discord or social media, a lot of you guys were unhappy. Like I said, I didn't have a problem. It kind of makes sense. Better than at least having a bit of a cheesy method of actually repairing stuff with just wooden tools, scrapping it all the time for salvage. I like it that we've got to put a bit more effort into it now. Although there are games like Valheim that don't actually make you pay anything to repair your tools or weapons as long as you've got a workbench. So they could have maybe kept it at least with just the wood. But anyway, I'm really glad they did it. They also changed a few other things as well. And I'm going to talk over some of them changes in a little bit more detail now about particularly the nerfs to selling items and ores. So let's go over some of them changes. So it does look like they've made it a little bit more simpler. Carapace helmet is going to require a tin. Cave-in pants require 2 fibre. Ancient pickaxe requires 1 scarlet bar, and again the tin axe needs tin. Flintox needs iron, and you get the idea. I wasn't too fussed about some of the weapons or armours maybe needing more resources. I do think at that point where you're getting some of these items, you probably have got a decent amount of them resources. I've got tons and tons of red ore. I keep calling it red ore, scarlet ore and stuff. I guess the only problem is carrying it sometimes with you to explore other biomes. It does mean you're taking up precious slots with resources that you might not necessarily need. And obviously when it was just one resource, it was a lot simpler to carry one item with you like scrap. Maybe that's something that devs can do in the future and just have like maybe basic, advanced and rare sort of scrap. And each weapon or item will be under one of them categories. So if you're just doing a bit of a mining run and a lot of the stuff you got is just kind of advanced or whatever, then you can go ahead and just take advanced scrap with you. If you're doing a boss run, you can take the, rare stuff. Anyway, just some thoughts about it. I made an absolute profit on my iron ingots before the update hit, as they did put the patch notes up and already had the game running. So I quickly went and sold a bunch, meaning I can go and resummon the bosses as much as I want. So in the past, the nerf has been this big. 100 scarlet ore used to get you 2,400 credits. Now you only get 1,500. And I do believe the iron was pretty much the same deal. Used to get 2,200, but now you only get 800. And you only get 200 credits for 100 tin ore. So I can appreciate some people might feel like these nerfs were a bit too much. But honestly, once you get to a certain point, the scaling kind of goes off a little bit. Once you've started to really mine certain things like the ore deposits, and you've played for a good few hours and left them on, you'll quickly find you'll have an absolute ton of the resources and ores. Now to be fair, I have played quite a bit. I've got nearly 95 hours under my game time, and some of that time was indeed spent AFK just so that I could generate some time getting some of the ores dug quicker. But I did leave certain ores alone, like a tin deposit, and they managed to generate just about the same amount of resources, and obviously a slower time. But yeah, you get the idea. It's not long before you are kind of flooded with the resources. So I'm kind of hoping whatever happens next, we have more items to craft with them, or they do increase the price or cost of stuff. I do kind of get where maybe the devs were coming from, where they maybe wanted to adjust and change a few things. Balance is important. I feel like the early stages of the game are pretty tight. Easily in the first 20 hours, I don't feel like the balance was off or the grind was too much. And unless you made any mistakes where you hadn't really gone and explored certain areas, then you kind of got a good flow. You got a good flow of getting items. It wasn't too hard to grow your crops. Even with seeds being a bit of a problem in the early stages, you quickly realise that you get them from lots of drops and lots of crates. So it's not really as hard as you think. One thing I'm a bit disappointed in is that they nerfed some of the cooked foods. Basically, whatever raw ingredients you've got, they were always worth less than making an actual food type. And you could have something like petals or the heartberries, which I think you only got one actual piece each. They would actually sell for like 6. But basically they've made it now that food will sell for exactly how much raw materials, how much they cost in ancient coins. So you've got a heartberry and that's going to be worth 2, and then you've got something like a pepper that's going to be worth 6, then you will get 8 ancient coins back. And I feel like they should kind of make it the other way. Not everyone wants to get rich on mining. Maybe there's a whole bunch of farmers and people just like that side of things. So it'd be cool if they could actually make some profits. I know it's not the main gist of the game, but if you are going to have ways that you can generate income to go ahead and just buy resources, then I don't see why farming's not kind of thought of in the same way. It takes just as much effort really to go and farm all your crops. There's no way to do it really automatically. Not unless they do plan some features where you can actually place seeds. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, if anyone has seen an automation system where you can actually plant crops. So yeah, it seems a bit mean. You've still got to put a lot of effort in. You've still got to go and craft all them foods. And you're obviously getting the additional bonus or buff of gaining XP and cooking. So then it was always great that you could then get a little bit of profit on it too. So I would say that's probably the only one I would change back to have it as it was, that some of the foods would give profit. In fact, I kind of was a bit grumpy that some foods didn't give as much actual profit as some of the others, but I guess it's because you know you're going to be using a lot more of them. I didn't really mind wood being reduced so that you don't get any ancient coins back from it anymore. It was too easy to set up wood automated farming and just make huge profits that way, as well as all the crafting stuff that you could do with it afterwards. But all in all, a great update, especially with the fixes they did, listening to the community, so hope to see more of that from them. There are a few issues still that I think they need to be addressing. We've got things like the bad guy here, obviously not taking any damage and not dying, and he should be dead by now. It's literally because he's not been aggroed by me. If creatures sometimes aren't aggroed, you can't actually kill them. They have plenty of damage numbers pop up, but you're not actually doing anything to actually take them down. It's only when you go up to them closer and then start aggravating them that they'll take proper damage. And this does mean that you've got cheesy methods of gaining certain skills, as you saw just pop up there. This is a way that you could potentially get more skills quicker and easier. I can understand why they've made some of the creatures be a little bit less responsive from distance, because then that means you can't really just cheese them from distance. But yeah, you don't want it so that they can just maybe increase your skills by doing nothing but trapping one of these dudes somewhere and just continuously shooting. Also, FYI, they need to be a bit more forgiving with the reticles and the aim, especially when using controller. I feel like the cone or the range of these bullets should be a lot better. But even that, as close as we are with these mold creatures, it's still not aggroed on me. I've gained 2 range skills there just by doing that cheesy method. So yeah, at least they responded. It does seem like the majority of players felt it was a bit too harsh. They gave everyone notice this morning they'd be rolling it back, and they've done the update this afternoon. So it's not going to cost multiple types of materials to repair, just maybe 1 or 2 of one type. They've also changed the repair materials for the blowpipe and the hunter armor set, and apparently there's some issues where save files were duplicated. But all in all, good stuff from Corekeeper. I feel like they've been doing updates at a decent state, lots of fixes, lots of improvements based on feedback, huge amount of quality of life issues and stuff. So I'm keen to see what they're going to have next. And look out, I will be doing a 100 hours review. I did do a review for my main survival channel just to basically get people to go and take a look at the game and hopefully buy it. But now I'm going to give you my serious 100 hours review. Probably a lot more in what I see them maybe adding in the future, what will work and what I'd like them to focus on too. So look out for that. Look out for still daily content, either streams or videos from Corekeeper from me. I'll see you lot later.